Roger said, take the elevator. Here. Retinal scan? Okay. And... Ow, I think it took my blood sample. Jeez. So we are like 500 feet underground in my buddy Roger's bunker, surrounded by G.I. Joe. We had to take a special elevator. There was a retinal scan. I'm not sure if the blood work has come back okay, but I was nonetheless allowed downstairs to take all this in. So what got you going for G.I. Joe back in the day?
Yeah, I'm Roger from Retro Toy Room, and yeah, I mean, I remember in Auto Drugs, which was a local drugstore chain, walking in there with my dad one day after school, seeing Airborne on the shelf, and like, wow, I gotta have that figure. And you know, a few months later for Christmas, I got the headquarters command center, the Dragonfly.
Oh yeah.
My dad was an MP in the Army. He was in law enforcement all of his life. It was something we kind of shared together. He would explain the file cards to me, you know, and
that's cool.
Always had a love for G.I. Joe. There were lots of other toys I loved, you know, Transformers, He-Man, etc. I have some of those sprinkled throughout, but G.I. Joe was really where it was at for me.
Yeah, clearly this holds a special spot for you.
Absolutely.
Well, let's dive in to this awesome bunker of G.I. Joe goodness.
Roger, talk about this custom.
So yeah, I've always wanted one of the Palatoy or Action Force APCs or troop carriers, and you know, figured I'd make my own. You know, I actually missed out on one at the last Joe show here locally, and somebody snagged one basically just minutes before I was there for like $100 that was semi-complete. And you know, I set out to make my own. Got some John Deere green tractor paint, stencil off Amazon for the for the black camo, and it turned out decent.
Dude, it looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, what did you use for the semi trailer?
Yeah, so the middle it's some kind of Lennard or cord. I couldn't tell you what core thing it is. It's some kind of like stationary base.
That is a great
that
idea.
I at a yard sale or a flea market, and I just immediately thought that's the perfect. It matches.
Yeah.
It's almost the identical color. It's maybe a shade off from the command center, and I'd already sold my mobile command center, but I'm like, I found the eBay lot, and I'm like, I'm just gonna piece all the. And I think about the same time I had got this case at a retail store or something, and I'm like, okay, I've got this is coming together.
Tell me about the Firefly backpack.
So yeah, I've always wanted I believe it's NASTA license saboteur toolkit, they call it. It's like a child size backpack.
That's so cool.
It has a G.I. Joe decal spread all across the front, which is a little odd for a Cobra thing. So I set out to make my own. That's actually a original licensed Joe meta kit, which is the same bottom portion as the saboteur toolkit, but then I got some authentic military ammo pouches, a fake or movie prop dynamite and smoke grenade that I altered, and then that's a fidget tube for the top that kind of has that roll bar. Painted it all up with a gray spray paint to match. Has a detonator timer sticker on it.
It's ticking.
So yeah, I kind of made my own out of that. I've always wanted it. They're super hard to find. They go for, sometimes upwards of $600 if you can even find one. So I've always wanted a carded Tomax and Zaymont, but they go for crazy prices, of course. I mean, obviously there's something to be said for having the original, but I recently won an eBay auction that had the card back, but it was missing the mirrored parts. So I won that auction, and then I just kind of carefully slid an extra Reaction Plus pack, put Tomax and Zaymont in there, and then inserted that portion of the card back to still have the mirrored effect like the old ones. And other than saying Reaction Plus, it's pretty much identical.
That's a great idea.
It's not repro or anything, but I think I paid $60 for the card back, so it turned out pretty nice.
And wherever you look, there's
something.
A dozen layers.
can join, and that's what again?
It's a retro toy room. You can follow us. We share, of course, pics of things we pick up along the way, great finds, parts of our own collection, and things we buy to resell to keep our own collection going. My wife collects a few things here and there too. She's a big ET.
Yeah, that's a whole other video.
Gremlins, Pyrex, vintage golden books, has a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah.
Collection. So we got into this as we became empty nesters. We were always collectors, but then became resellers as well. So
that's so cool.
So that's a two-seater.
Two-seater Tiger Force. Yeah. And they don't have to lay flat like the, it's more like the cartoon where they have true upright seats, which make a little more sense for a submarine.
And who printed that?
The guy's hand was Mark II Design.
Okay.
That's what he goes by. He makes some really cool
That is
stuff.
awesome.
He's actually working with Carson on that Operation Recall.
Yes, okay, that's where I know that name from.
Budo. It was like an international hero set, I think they called it.
I love that you got Joe curtains.
I had that background as a kid, so
That's so cool. It works for a great little room divider.
Check out the diorama and the old Emerson TV with the VHS, with auto tracking. Gonna blow your mind. Knowing that, it's like a NATO thing in real life just makes it that much more appealing.
As a kid, I loved the comics because they were just so realistic. Written by Larry Hama, so he lived the action. He knew all about military. But as an adult, even though I still love the comics, I feel some of those parts of the cartoon, like the pyramid, in the Pyramid of Darkness, the Temple of Doom, and Spirit and Storm Shadow in that cavern, those are the things that just make you really relive your childhood. You just love those, so I've tried to recreate that in some of my dioramas here.
Yeah, you've really captured some classic childhood, scenes that are saved away in all of our brains.
So we got the custom sand skimmer, but what's the mast?
The mast is a wooden spoon that I cut in half with a hacksaw.
Awesome.
Paracord, part of a devilfish, part of a Rambo vehicle, Imaginex wheel, some Black Major, Cobra soldiers, lots of stuff spliced together.
I love it. Great use of the Hasbro Indiana Jones truck from the 2000s. Yeah, it's awesome. What's that? The blue snowcat.
That's a convention exclusive too. It's supposed to be Battle Force 2000.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor. G.I. Joe Action Star Cereal. Yeah, fortified with plenty of vitamins. Room number 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, for coming to the first annual audition for membership in our small but elite society of Dreadnoks.
Action Force. That's such a great use of a inexpensive toddler toy. Takara Trouble Bubble.
And it doesn't frighten them in the least. Yes.
They shall learn the price of their arrogance. Baroness, is the device at operating temperature?
Yes, Destro.
Then lock on homing devices.
To match your collective IQs, I've made the rules simple. Whoever left standing at the end of the audition becomes our next Dreadnok. And that will be me.
Yeah, I love it.
Am I in the
Is that another click and play?
it's a Chatmay like Toys R Us thing.
Okay.
That's the only place I think it was ever available, at least in the U.S. was.
It's very whale-esque.
Yeah.
And we've got this is the San Diego Comic-Con Missile Command Center, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Which, if you know, that is not a cheap set anymore either. Let alone the original.
Almost complete. Soon my creation will be Cobra's new leader.
like to get the heli and turn it into TC's
Oh yeah.
chopper. I think that's what's going to happen eventually in my house.
I love the use of the fur as the snow.
Yeah, I think it was the Walmart fabric department back then.
Nice.
They used to have a lot of fabric.
And we were just talking about Roger's use of picture frames from the Dollar Tree as shelving units, or shelves, with those clamps that you can buy at the hardware store.
Perfect DTOF.
Yeah. To get those extra shelves in, we got to have more real estate.
So, of course, if you look at, Serpentor's file card and kind of know his history about the combing the tombs to create him as the ultimate Cobra leader, he's got Julius Caesar DNA. So I thought, what a better way to play homage to that than kind of have the kind of Roman-looking ruins is sort of his mock palace. Never did anything like that in the cartoon or the comics, of course, but I thought it just made even though it's impractical, it's just a really cool way to play homage to the fact that, all his DNA comes from ancient leaders.
Well, dude, thank you for inviting me in to see the sights. It's just been mind-blowing. I'm speechless. I want to stay here all day.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for coming. Thanks for for filming. Hey, you as the audience out there, if you want to check out any pictures, any close-ups of our collection and our future finds, just like or follow us on Retro Toy Room on Facebook. Thank you.
And join us on the next one from Chasing 80s Toys.